Stream is starting. And all right, and we're live. We are live. Okay. Man,
How have your streams been going?
they've been going really well. I think the most people we had in any stream was 14 people, and that was a lot of people from the Underground Voices Discord,
Pretty good.
and a lot of new people too. So that was pretty cool, if you ask me. Pretty cool.
I always
So
say this statistic. It's like if you have more than 10 people watching you that you don't like personally know, you're in the top like 1% of streamers.
that's what I heard, especially on Twitch. Especially on Twitch. So, hey man, and I'm all about the journey right now. You feel me?
Yeah,
So
man.
it's like, hey, we're gonna get there eventually. You know what I'm saying? I think so. But it's been fun, dude. If you ever want to just hang out, because I just review music on Mondays, so we should do that if you ever want to. I go onto Reddit and I find a bunch of music and I review that shit.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Dude, it's a vibe. It's a
Do you
vibe.
have people submit shit too?
I do. They've dropped their stuff in the Discord, and they've put it in the music share. So like when people drop into the stream, and I got to figure out a better way to do this, but I'm like, hey, join our Discord, drop it in the music share, and then I'll review it there. It also keeps me from finding anything that may be what you call it, sketchy, because I can like,
Mm,
you're not gonna send it to me, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
call.
So, looks like looks like YouTube is not receiving enough. Hold on a second.
Oh no,
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So there's going to be some buffering. That's fine.
that's fine.
Yeah. What's a little bit of buffering? What's a little bit of buffering?
When I'm in Ears stream, there's a solid like 20 seconds between uh like when I'll type something and when I see him respond to it.
Yeah. I'm not worried. Is sick. Fucking awesome, dude. You know what? Let's just jump into it, man. Uh for those of you guys who have this is the first time we're doing this, but I'm super excited to do this. Uh this is our first Hangin' With series. I'm P. Miller. I created Underground Voices, and we're a community of artists who love and support each other. And if you want to join that community, the Discord's in the bio. But today, we're here, and we're really excited to hang out with one of the coolest artists and coolest people that I've had the pleasure to meet in, I don't know. I'm ancient, so what? 1,000 years? I don't know. I'm
More.
in more than 1,000 years. I've been around for ages, and this is a very cool moment that I get to share with one of the coolest people here. And this is Chuck Mallard, artist extraordinaire. Let's hit some applause for that. Right? Yeah, there you go. No problem, dude. Were you able to hear the applause? Were you able to hear that?
Just barely muffled.
Okay,
But
sick.
it came across.
Okay, sick. Okay. Next time when I do your interview after you've done a world tour, I'll have that more set up properly. So like, you know what I'm saying? The applause will really fit nice.
It'll
You know what
really
I'm
hit
saying?
home.
That's what I'm saying, dude. So how you doing, man? We don't get enough time to chat, I feel like.
I know we don't. It's going good, man. I work a lot. I'm a waiter. That's what I do most of the time. Um, it's crazy. I've had a couple crazy coincidences lately. I had these people walk in, right, and I'm serving them food, and they're just eating that shit up. They're
Yeah.
having a good time.
Yeah.
And we get talking about, I thought the lady was wearing an injury reserve shirt, or not really.
Ooh.
It just had the exact same font as an injury reserve shirt I have.
Love
And
that.
so I was like, I keep thinking you're wearing like my favorite rap group's merch. And we just started talking about hip hop for a while. They said they're friends with Raekwon, who lives
The
in
chef.
Dallas. Yeah, the
What?
fucking chef, bro. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Apparently Raekwon lives in Dallas now. And they're like, yeah, our kids call him like Uncle Ray. And so I may have I may have some secured some Wu Tang tickets in my future.
Bro, all right, yo, I was it. Did you? Can you talk about it? Is it backstage? Like, what are we talking here? Is it like you
I
get to go
think
hang out with the chef?
they said whenever they have a show in Texas, Raekwon hits him up and is like, "Yo, how many tickets do you need?"
What? That's
Yeah,
cool.
I got him. I think they're following Underground Voices on Instagram now because they were like, "I want to
Oh,
know where the like good underground shows are." I'm like, "Fucking follow this page and you'll find them."
oh, awesome. I think I did notice somebody new followed us, so I was like, all right, sick. And you know what? This clip will go on there. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll find out. Maybe they'll know. They'll be like, oh, that's the guy we met. He is pretty cool. Not that they didn't know that before,
It
but
was Ami, and Ben are their names.
Ami
If
and
you're
Ben.
watching, Ami and Ben, I love you and I miss you.
He said, "I love you and I miss you." Man, that's what. Can we? Before we get into music, let me just talk about you for like a second. That's one of the things consistently that when either I introduce you to people or just when I see you interact with people, that is the main thing that people say about you is that you are just a nice, kind, caring individual, and it never feel like you are one of the realest people that people ever get to meet in this city. So props to you. I don't know how you do it. I don't know.
Thank you. I'm just a guy, you know. I just try to be
Yeah,
like a guy.
you know, you're a guy that
It's
creates great
nothing
music.
crazy. I don't really have an ego about it, or at least
Yeah.
I do, but I try not to let that like project into I don't know how I view people.
I don't know, man. I can hear your ego in your music, and it's well deserved. I can. It's well deserved.
Don't
Like,
tell me that. Don't tell me
I'm just saying, man. The the moment,
it's spiraling, man.
dude, the moment I heard one of your, I quote this line to you all the time because I say it in real life now. This is not a joke. I say it to people, and I keep forgetting to give you credit, but I say it. I when I introduce myself to people, I say, "Hey, my name's Paul, but don't call me Daddy. Call me Kanye." And people fucking lose it to that. They love that shit.
Yeah.
They love it, dude.
Dude, it was funny. That song, "All Bars Go to Heaven," our friend Arawadi, who's a rapper in Austin, he's dope as shit. He just sent me a song he's working on for his new project, right?
Yes.
And he's like, "Let me know what you think about this." And I listened to it, and it was like the exact audio file of like the exact sample I used of the bass line for that song, and it's like the only melody in "All Bars Go to Heaven." So it just like stuck out immediately. I was like, yeah, obviously, like I like it, you know.
So I like it.
It's better.
I did. Did you come up with that bass line yourself or
No, dude, it's just a sample.
just a
It's a
sample?
sample with like some distortion on it, a couple
You,
chops here and there.
when it comes to you creating music, where do you start creatively? You know, when you sit down, you're ready to start a track. What do you start with?
It depends. Sometimes, I mean, you approach it different ways for different
Yeah.
vibes. I tend to start with melody and build out for there. Although I think all my best songs tend to come from when I start with like drums or bass. So I guess I should do that more. But yeah, you know, you get a sample, you see if there's any inspiration, you fuck around with it, you try to, you know, filter it, chop it up. Oh, throw the classics on there, a little halftime, you know, just see what you can make happen. And then get going from there. I don't know. A
So
lot of it, yeah, go ahead.
no, excuse me. Sorry, I interrupted you. I thought you took a breath, and I was like, let me
Was
get this.
taking a breath. I was just stuttering, trying to find more words to say. But that's all you, baby. Get it.
No, oh, well, my question was on that same note, do you find yourself when you're making this art, are you letting the art come out of your explorative process, or do you have a clear idea when you go in? Because you know some producers go in, they
Mm,
know the sound that they want, they pick it out, they do it, boom, bang, boom. Are where do you lie on that spectrum?
yeah. I think it depends on how naturally the ideas flow. Sometimes I have a really clear vision for the song. Like Parasitic, I heard that
Love that song.
"Da-na-na-na,
Oh my god.
da-na-na, da-na-na-na." I was like, that sounds nuts. I want it that it sounds like kind of unhinged and manic. I thought it felt like a like virusy. So I'm
Mm.
like, okay, this song is about like, you know, virus shit, and really
Yes.
it's about like just having a. I'll talk about this more when we listen to it, but it's just about like creative vision and that being infectious. Um, but that one I was just like, this just needs to be like a hard hitting like single is kind of what I thought, and so
Mm.
immediately I knew I'm like, this is how the bass has to go. Drums simple, like 16th note hi-hats, some kicks reinforcing the 808s, but it's like a mad simple track, whereas like something like malware, or no, I'd say something like taboo. It's a much different process. A lot of it is just like fucking around and find out and find it,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
And my
No.
favorite thing to do is like trying to use like plugins in ways that they're not meant to be used.
Mm.
Like this is the trick I tell all my producer homies that I get of like, over distorting shit. You put a weird LFO filter on shit, side chaining things that aren't meant to be side chained. I
Mm.
think a lot of it comes from like mixing ideas too, of like how do you make this shit fit together. Like sometimes I'll have an idea, like I just sent you guys a beat where I thought uh bass tends to always be in mono, right?
Yep. Yeah. That's
And
yeah.
so I thought, what if I just had a song where everything else was in mono, but whenever the bass came, it went all stereo. So you could have a stereo bass will
Mm.
with it still like standing out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like little shit like that, and it sounds crazy. Every time the bass hits, the song like opens up and then it comes back in and it opens up. So just like I don't know, any ideas? Just try to do shit in ways that it's not meant to be done.
Now, let me ask you this: as a creative, how do you? This is going to sound super. I don't even know if the word is pretentious, but this is going to be I think this is going to be a struggle question because I struggle with this. How do you be creative? Because you
Mmm.
understand what I'm saying? It's
That
one
is a
thing
struggle question.
that is a struggle question. We might not even have the answer for it right now, but I'm like, how do you
Yeah.
be creative? Because you can write something down, follow the rules. You can understand that, like, hey, there's a clear line of things I need to do to accomplish the goal. But how do you even come up with the ideas to come up with the task to accomplish said goal? You know what I'm saying? How do you how do you create the creativity? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think, yeah, no, that's a good question, man. I think for me, I feel like I'm like addicted to it, you
Mm,
know?
love
It's
that.
like I feel like creativity is like, man, making art, that's a godly feeling to me.
Mm,
You're making
yeah.
something out of nothing, and that thing would not be there if not for like your own ideas and, volition.
Yeah.
And given everybody's influenced, everybody's biting, little shit here and there, regardless of whether you do it consciously. But it's just like, man, making music that you like to listen to is, for me, like the best feeling on earth. So
Mm,
I think for me it's more of like, it's just throwing shit at the wall until something sticks enough to like flesh it out. So some days I'll make like probably like three or four like 8 bar loops, and I can't really get past that like
mm.
creatively in a song. And there are some days where it's like, I'll spend 6 hours working on one beat because the ideas just like they just flow. I think it's like, at least at my point, I don't have the ability as much as I'd like to just like turn it on.
Mm.
Sometimes you can just sit down and make it happen, but I think until you get that practice, is just like sitting down enough times to where you like are guaranteed a chance for like creativity to strike. You know?
Gotcha. Gotcha. It sounds like your solution is effectively, if I can dumb it down for me
Yeah,
personally,
man.
it sounds like just continually sitting down and putting yourself in those moments to be creative is the best
Yeah.
way to get that creativity going. You
Yeah,
know?
and it's like I'll sit down and I can't think of shit sometimes, and you beat yourself up. You're like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to be a musician.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, it's giving you the opportunities to have times where you don't make anything,
Yeah.
anything like worthwhile, because it's gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
just like having enough of those moments where you can like, I think there is something to like, you can kind of develop a system to help guide yourself towards like more finished products more of the time, and that's how eventually I think everybody got to get to it. Like, Kenny Beats sits on stream for 10 hours and just
Mm.
makes beats all day. Like, how the fuck does somebody go and do that? You
Yeah.
listen to Era freestyle on stream, and it's like his mind just doesn't run out of bars or rhyme schemes. They have like their systems and their methodologies are just like they're 10,000 hours, honestly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is that 10th hour, 10,000 hours philosophy coming into play. Because at that point, if you just keep doing it, you have to hit a basket if you're shooting 100 times. Like you have to hit at least one. I mean,
Right? Yeah,
I,
I
I,
mean that's what it is.
I guess
Definitely.
technically you could make none, but like you get the idea. You get the idea.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
and that's what I think too. If you ever get discouraged, like I get discouraged sometimes. You hear a song that's just like so good, you're just
Yeah.
like, fuck, man. Like, what am I even doing? I think it's helpful to remember like those people probably have just as many shit ass project files as you do, if not probably more, because
Honestly,
they
probably
had to
more. Yeah.
get through. Yeah, like you hear that shit of like Kendrick Lamar has like 9 albums worth of unreleased,
Wow.
songs. And it's like some people are like, "What the fuck, Kendrick? Like, why aren't you releasing it?" But it's like, man, he doesn't release it. He's not a god. Kendrick's gotta have a bad idea every once in a while.
Oh, of
You
course.
know,
Unpopular
finish
opinion.
song
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's a good song.
Exactly. It's good to finish, but it doesn't make the song
Yeah,
good. You know what I'm saying? Always finish your work, but you don't have to show everybody.
yeah.
You know. I think you said that to me last year. Um, we were talking about. You had just shown us a beat. We were hanging out at my house, and you'd shown a beat, and I was like, man. I think I said something to the effect of "you don't miss," and then you responded with, "Well, I only show you guys the good ones," and
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, I was
Literally.
like, that's
Yeah, I
fair.
don't let you see when I do miss.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
man, you look through my logic files and there's some bunk in there. Absolutely.
So does the same process that you're using when it comes to making beats, what crossover do you have in your rhymes? You know, when it comes to
Mm,
rapping, everything about rapping too, because I say rapping and some people simply think I just mean putting words together. No, when I say rapping, I mean well, whatever image you're trying to paint. I mean how you sound, what kind of personality you're trying to portray over the microphone. What philosophies in your production cross over into that?
mm.
And where
I
is
would
the overlap?
say the similarity see, I think, is my best tracks tend to have like a strong idea from the conception. Like
Mm,
like Parasitic is one of my favorite verses on that album,
mm,
just because it's like really, and Malware, they're just really conceptually like tight. They're all like on topic, and I really like
mm-hmm.
that shit. So that helps a lot. Like adding constraints to try to like provoke your creativity in different ways. But I don't know. It's just kind of like you just try to think about it enough, and you'll have some ideas. Honestly, it's a lot harder for me to write raps than it is for me to produce. I think there's a million different ways to start producing a song. You can get a sample and chop it up. You can get a sample and pitch it around.
Mm,
You can start with drums. You can do bass. You could do a percussion loop. You could try to remake a different song. But like rapping, at the end of the day, there's a point where it's like, you can start with like an idea for a flow or maybe like a rhyme scheme. But at the end of the day, you just got to sit and like write some shit. And it's harder for me to start that process. I used to do it by, I was a delivery driver for a while, and I would just have all my beats on my phone. I would just sit in the car all day and like try to freestyle, write shit.
mm.
And I'd, drop off a sandwich, sit and write a couple bars, go to the next place, think about the next couple bars, and I would just do that until I had verses that I liked. And I think that helped too. Of kind of like, you ever hear about the shower principle?
No, what's that?
It's like when you keep your body kind of occupied with a more like menial task you don't really have to think about. That kind of like frees up your brain to like, I don't know, flow easier. So
Okay.
like you ever have like you've heard of like shower thoughts. You know, you get a
Yeah.
crazy thought in the shower. You're all
Yeah.
busy doing whatever shit. You're on autopilot and your brain can just kind of wander. Driving is a similar thing for me. I definitely do that a lot, but like, yeah, man, that's a hard one.
So, shouts out to the viewers. Don't rap and drive unless you're an expert. That's dangerous. Chuck was out here putting us all in danger because his bars were too hot.
I've definitely almost gotten in an accident because I was just writing down a bar. It's a miracle I didn't get in a real accident because I was writing down a bar. Because
Man,
the first three projects I made were written exclusively in the car.
you know, I keep hearing that from people that I highly respect with the pen. That like the best, some of y'all's best ideas or like your favorite ideas come from a car. DT Ruth, fucking almost like I know he can write on the spot and I know he writes at home, but like every time he'd come over to my house to record on the way, every time he'd say, "Yeah, I wrote this in the car," or he'll rap it in his
He's
head.
a machine. He's
Oh
a
my gosh!
true rapping machine.
Shouts out to
In
him.
the way that I think Era can just freestyle forever, I feel like DT could just write forever.
Dude.
I don't think he maxes out.
He hasn't maxed out. The only reason he's having a baby, so congratulations to that. Congratulations. Yeah, shout out to that baby. But once that baby's here, man, we're not gonna be ready because now he's gonna be rapping about his life and a new baby. What? Incredible.
It's
Uh
gonna be crazy.
oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna
He's
see
gonna
a new.
find a way. He's gonna find a way to make the family rap hard. Or
Oh,
just
dude.
rapper failed, DT will prevail.
He's gonna do the new rap renaissance. Yo,
Yeah.
yo. So speaking of rap, obviously, you know, we all know why we're here. Chuck Mallard just dropped his new project that I've been waiting for. I didn't even know it was coming out, but I knew I wanted to hear it. Fucking hyper hop. Here's some applause for that.
It's gonna come out before it actually
Ah,
did.
yeah,
So I think people probably just got in the habit of like, yeah, okay, man, which is fair.
man. Don't
That's
sleep
on
on
me.
don't sleep on Chuck, man. This you still managed to get out other work, so it's not like you were not rapping. It weren't making things.
I just wasn't releasing shit is really what it was. Like, I don't know. This album was weird. I sat on it for a long time.
So, can I ask you a question? I don't like interrupting you. My bad, but this has been on my mind. But I want to ask you about hyperhop, specifically the track "Static" that you
Yeah.
performed when I first met you.
Yeah.
Was that done before you knew it was going to be part of a project, or where does that lie in context to the creation of hyperhop?
Static is the oldest song on the project, and it had updates, but like, I wrote that verse over 2 years ago now.
Wow, that's a 2-year-old verse.
Yeah, I've been sitting on that hoe for a while, and it was originally gonna be a different song with a different beat I made when I didn't have enough sauce, you know. But I
Yeah.
love the verse, bro. I just love it opens the. I've been depressed for a minute. My hand on the candle can't handle these bitches. I love that. I was just like, that's a dope rhyme. And
Dude.
so I kept it in my mind for a while. The other song I made with it with homie Cam Paredes. Shout out Cam. Sorry, it didn't come out like that. Eventually I just so I wrote it, and then I think a year later, around when I met you, I'd finished that song like that week, and then I came to the pre-roll for I think that was my first time, and
I'm pretty sure
because I was
yeah.
like, this is the shit that I think will really go live.
and it did 100%.
It did. That was a fun one. People
That
never expect that shit, man. Big ass bass. Motherfuckers, God, they don't know how to mix their bass. They make it too quiet. That's my opinion, and I'm a definite like junkie for shit to sound like really overblown and distorted, as is proof by the album. But like, you just know how to make an 808 hit right, or a big subby bass, and it's like that'll carry a whole live performance.
you're
So that was kind of my idea making it. It's really, honest to God, there's this producer Oshi. He's fucking tight. If you don't know Oshi,
no, I don't.
everybody check out Oshi. He's dope. It's one of I got the sample from. I was in a Kenny Beats battle, and Oshi, who's like a very notable producer, just dropped through, and he was like, "Oh, cool, Kenny Beats, you're doing this shit. Here, have a free sample pack for everybody." So I have this like Oshi sample pack that was like only in that Kenny Beats battle, and the sample is from that. And
Okay.
it's just, I just fucked around with it until I liked it. But yeah, I think it worked a lot. Eventually, I went back and added that big outro, just because it felt really like, I don't know, that song feels very climactic to me. So I was like, it needs just like big like kind of breakdown at the end, really like kind of close out the energy of like at least my rapping parts of the album.
That song tore down the house when I saw you perform it. I remember pretty much every open mic I go to. I think it's important to do that out of respect for the people that perform. And I do my best to remember everybody's performance. And that one stood out to me amazingly. That one is going to, I feel like, just tear down every house you played in, for sure.
I know, I need to get that one. I haven't done it live for a while. I need to get back on that shit. Funny enough, Big Texas, who's the feature on Parasitic, that's how I did like a little show called Conscious Fest in San Antonio. He saw me do
With
that
Vito,
show
right?
there. Yeah. He saw me do that show there, and was like, "Yo, let's make some shit." So that led me to you and Big Texas, which is funny.
Dude, that's how it works, man. That's how it fucking works. He brings a great energy on it too. Big Texas out there screaming. I'm like, yo,
bro,
this
he
guy.
did it perfectly.
Dude.
Took him it took him some time to write it.
Yeah.
But as soon as I heard it, I was like, you could have taken another year, you know? Like,
And this would have been
like,
perfect.
And this way, it would have been like fine. It's fucking great. I love it.
Yeah. He did a fantastic job. In fact, why don't we jump into listening to Static really quick?
Word.
And you can give us a little breakdown on some important parts of it. So this is Static by Chuck Mallard off of his project Hyper Hot. Hearing it here.
Yeah, there's that. That's the Oshi sample.
Gotcha.
And then it's just fucked around with a bunch throughout the rest of the song.
This goes so crazy live, and it's incredible.
It's got that
People-
good build up. It really is. It feels like a live song.
People don't know what to do. They hear this and they're like, "Am I out of body experience?"
In my hand on a candle, can't handle these bitches. Flame on the mantle, I'm hungry like Hannibal. Set up the table, I'm making examples. Mortgage a ticket, receipt.
Love that line. Love that line.
Can I flip it? So acrobatic, I'm over asthmatic. Friends are all fucked in the head, we addicted to addicts. Shit, we the baddest. Covered in chrome, call it monochromatic. Beat is my home and the bars of the attic. It's over your head, but under the radar. Come
Over your head, but under the radar. What?
Enter the static, baby.
a matter of time before I go make a classic. Chain made of metal, neck weigh a ton.
Oh man, this beat switch up. I gotta ask you about this when this is over.
That's word to my lungs. Ain't enough curses to say what I want. Bitch, I'm the one. Unsatisfied, I can't tell what I want. Split down the middle from back to the front like I'm Malcolm. I meddle in anything that gets me fun or fucked up. Not about guns, but I buck hunt. Irresponsible, I must stunt. Adrenaline.
I appreciated that line. Not about guns, but I buck hunt. I appreciated that. I was like, thank you for not stunting. Thank you for not stunting on people and claiming nothing.
Only thing left is remember I said that. Shit, we the baddest.
So let's fade this out. This is amazing. I'm not gonna play all of it for them because they need to listen to it for themselves. They need to listen to it for themselves.
Yeah, if you haven't heard that song, go bump that shit. Outro goes crazy.
Dude. Yeah, no. The outro goes crazy. And if you haven't heard it, take a listen to that. It's on all streaming platforms. Follow Chuck Mallard, CHUCK_MALLARD, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. There's
Follow
a couple
him.
platforms I wasn't able to get it, but everybody who has that name that isn't me is a fucking suspended account. I'm pissed. Why?
I mean, it's a great name. And who fucking thought of Chuck Mallard? Like,
Yeah, who's
they're just sitting on the name.
man? Come on, please. I'm trying like DMing. You can't do it. There's suspended.
Man, I hope you never give up that name. So when it comes to this song and these lyrics, I listen to your raps and I pay a lot of attention to everybody I listen to, and like there's a vibe for everything. And sometimes people are just spitting bars. Sometimes people are just out here to just establish a feeling. Sometimes people are out here to establish more raw emotion, and it doesn't really care about the lyrics. I find that you are very witty with your punchlines. How long does it take you to get to that point where you've come up with something when you're like, that was cool, that was clever? And how often do you use filler bars? Because we obviously all do. Yours are not very noticeable. Huh?
Yeah, no, everybody got filler bars. I remember I had my roommate ask me that one time. He was like, "Do you ever just like write shit just like because you think it like sounds cool, but it doesn't really mean anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Everybody does. You just I don't know. I think usually it's like finding. A lot of times I try to work backwards so I know like where I want to end in the bar, like
Interesting.
I knew I wanted a bar to end with "I'm addicted to addicts," uh, and it was like so I just had to figure out like where to get from there. So shit like that,
Yeah.
figuring out like where you want it to be hitting, finding like I mean the end of the bar I feel like is tends to be the most important unless you got like a crazy rhyme scheme going on.
Right, right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. This was a weird one. It's definitely more freestyle vibes. It's not quite as focused. I think it's really just like, man, I felt on my shit. This is a big ego song for me for sure,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Do you enjoy doing what kind of songs do you enjoy doing more? Like, do you enjoy writing songs that kind of fulfill your ego where you're talking your shit? Do you enjoy songs where like if you have to choose, right? You're about to make an entire
Yeah.
project off this. Do you enjoy songs that are more like emotionally heavy? Do you enjoy a fictional narrative? Where do you fall if you have to choose? I hear you and I feel like I hear a lot of shit talking, which is dope. I love that shit. But where do you
I do love to talk my shit.
Yeah.
It's always fun. I would say I get the most. I started out doing, or like pretty much rap. I started like trying to make music seriously because rap turned out to be like a really effective coping mechanism for me. Like,
Okay.
uh, like I don't know, man. I got a disease. It fucks me up sometimes. It's hard to deal with, man. And being able to take negative feelings I have about that or just like other shit in my life and turn it into like a positive like a piece of work that I can look at and be proud of and be like, man, those like fucked up feelings I have, like I made it like beautiful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think definitely like shit that carries some emotional weight is what I find the most fulfilling to do. I wouldn't say that's what I was trying to do with hyperpop. That was definitely like Painkiller for sure. I was just
Yeah.
trying to make that. That
I
is an
can hear
album
that.
about me and my struggles, man. But this one is more of like a sonic idea. This felt like I've been describing it this week of like feels kind of like a coming of age story of like me as a creative, you know.
Right.
This felt like the first project where it's like, damn, I have this vision that I am like willing to put everything on. I think it's fucking dope. I think it sounds dope, and I'm just gonna like I'm going to use the tools that I've been building over my years of making music to try to make it sound as good as I can. And I think this is the first project where I've really been able to like showcase like, look, man, I can rap. There's some bars in this that shit, and I can produce stuff too. It feels like me kind of coming to the table being like, here's what I can offer.
Which is a testament to your humility. I know we can tell in your lyrics you do talk shit for sure. Testament to that, but the idea that you had to bring this to the table when everybody already knew you could rap. Like everybody already knew that. And the idea that you waited, you were like, "No, I know you think I can rap, but this is I can rap is a testament to your humility." So applauds to you for just being a dope artist and a cool person for that. That's not so I want to talk about your favorite track on this project. That's what I want to talk about. Which one? Yeah, which one? Just like when I put this on, I'm showing this to somebody first. I know what song I'm choosing every time. But what song are you choosing when you're talking about hyper hop?
Malware for sure.
I knew you were gonna say it. I knew you were gonna say it.
It is, man. It's just like it feels like sonically, it's like everything that I had thought of like I want the album to sound this way. Malware sounds like that, like every step of the way. It's glitchy. It's like, all these computer sounds. It's got this crazy melody, this bass that'll fucking kick your shit in.
Yes.
And like, the bars, it's like that was a pretty loosely conceptual track, just to talk some shit, and you're talking about computer stuff also. And I think like, putting terms of like I don't know. I just wanted to talk about like, I don't know, my life and references to computer shit. So like, and I wanted it to sound like that. A big thing for me is this and Parasitic, honestly, I wanted them to kind of sound like they're just like falling apart by like the end of the song. Like I wanted it to get more intense as you go on. So it's like you get to the last chorus and it's like half the words are fucking glitching out, there's all this like weird background stuff going on. And then you get to the end and it's just like the most distorted shit I could make. I literally sat there and I had a bass line and I would apply a bunch of distortion and I would bounce it out and I'd put it back in and I'd apply a bunch of distortion and I'd automate it a little and I'd bounce it out. And I did that like 5 times probably.
Wow. Until
I just like got what I wanted it to sound like, which is just like malware has taken over your shit, So I think it's like thematically, it feels tight. It feels very like on brand for the album. I think it's like everything. It's everything I want it to be. I love that song.
Dude, I think it sounds fantastic. Why don't we take a second to listen to it really quick? For people who haven't heard it yet, this is Malware by Chuck Mallard. His favorite song on the track or on the project. Matter of fact, if you like this song, you should follow him on Instagram and tell him how much you like Malware. So let's peep it right now.
Malware on my neck, I run it back to shut it down. Got this virus in my brain, I go insane up in my crown. And my patience runs so thin it down, as long I need it now. Got my fix in terabyte, but my attention comes in ounces. I get to bouncing when I get
this part. I flip out every time on this part.
I get to counting, money's taking, I'm still by my own accountant. This I sound, bitch. Sounds like malware on my neck, I run it back to shut it down. Got this virus in my brain, I go insane up in my.
So right after my part, my part's coming up. I love this part coming up. Hold up.
But my pressure comes in pounds, moving weight.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bro. Yes. Woo. Man, I cannot tell you. I wish we had a cameraman at our last Underground Voices event, because I cannot tell you how hype I was on that particular part during the song.
You held it down.
Bro, I fucking texted you the morning of your project. That's what I texted you.
Fouls, moving, wait.
Bro, I just be I just be saying that sometimes. I just say that. Like, I just like Chuck Mallard quotables. If you don't put this shit on a t-shirt, then you're doing something wrong. Okay? I'm putting that out in the universe. You got to put some of this shit on a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah.
What?
Man.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Here's some applause for
Maybe not the best. It's up there for me.
And if anybody, for the people listening, if you hear that song and you love it here, imagine that shit live. I'll be honest, you're not gonna like this, Chuck, but I have to tell you this, since I'm a Christian and I can't lie.
Yeah.
I like that song, but I love your performance of it just better. It's just better. Like,
that's how I feel about Corner Store.
That's how you feel, but I agree with Corner Store. Yeah.
Corner Store to me is like, it's almost inherently live. You know, it's just
Dude,
that's come to be like, I feel like that's like my signature song now.
Dude.
You know,
this is your signature move in the WWE. You're coming off the top rope with Corner Store every time. Just and there's Chuck Mallard with the Corner Store. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Yeah, that's exactly what's popping off. Man, yeah, love that song. What's been like your experience with the music scene in Austin, since that's where we're located? What do you like about it? I know that's such a lowball question, but like with your sound, I feel like that's appropriate, because your sound, I feel, crosses many boundaries. It doesn't, like, it appeals to hip hop fans, and it also appeals to pop music fans. When I say pop music, I think you know what I mean. It appeals to EDM fans. So for somebody who doesn't care about genre boundaries like you, where does that put you in the music scene in Austin, and like, do you have any feelings about that?
I mean, my hope for Austin is that it'll eventually kind of be a hub for like alt hip hop. That's what I think. And I think it's set up to do that. Austin itself is kind of weird, you know. It's definitely Austin prides itself on like being kind of alt and indie. And like, I mean, they like the underground shit here. You know, you go to 6th Street on a Friday, and it's like every bar has a live band in it. And so I would love for it to kind of extend that love into hip hop, because that's where my heart is. I always, even if I'm not doing like, I don't know, like I always want to be making hip hop. I think maybe someday I'll fuck around, do like instrumental album, but like rap is what really drives me. So I'd like to be doing that. I want to see that scene grow in Austin. I mean, from what I've experienced, the rap shit that does go on here is pretty cool. Like, you got there's a lot
I'd agree.
of like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of dope artists. I think most of them have like something special going on, you know, especially like all the guys we fuck with, Underground Voices. Every single guy is so unique, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody sounds so different from each other. There's not a lot of like, I like Austin because it doesn't feel super like pop influenced, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't see people just trying to make like what works here.
I agree.
Much.
I feel like there's a lot of self-expression going on here.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
I feel like there's definitely a lot of people being what's true to them, and I appreciate the hell out of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why I support, you know, the music as much as I can here. Anyways.
Yeah, man.
You know. Chuck Mallard, Hyper Hop came out this week.
Friday.
This past Friday. As an interviewer, I should know that, but honestly, I've been
That's okay.
bumping it
That's
so
okay.
much, time does not mean anything to me anymore. I've just been listening to hyperhop so much.
Dude, me too. My sense of time and productivity has just melted. I got the album out and I was like, oh man, I have like some breathing room, you know? And
Yeah,
I've been just binging some shit the last few days. It's been awesome.
dude, that's
Not
awesome. I'm
too much
glad.
shit.
I'm
I,
glad you
I,
found.
I, as much as I can try to not be productive, I still have to.
I'm
But
I'm glad you're
I've
getting
been
some
less
rest.
productive.
You do
Yeah,
need some
definitely,
rest, dude. You need some rest.
definitely, bro.
But before we end here, I want to ask you about where are you going after this? You know, hyper hop. We
Mm,
just had hyper hop. Are you about to just give us another new genre
I
defining
have some
project?
ideas, man. I do have
Yeah,
some ideas. I'd
yeah.
I'd love to. I mean, after this, I want to do some singles. One,
Okay,
because it's just like more marketable. More people tend to listen to them. You give people a whole album worth of stuff, and I feel like they get kind of overwhelmed in it.
sure.
So I think it would be wise for me to just put out, a few singles. So got a song with Wadi coming. I have that
Mm.
song with Mr. Paul fucking Miller coming. It's
Hey,
gonna be awesome.
really
Yeah, I need
excited
to
for
get that
that,
shit mixed up. That honestly, that's one of my favorite songs I've ever made
dude.
with you. That shit is phenomenal.
I
So keep
yeah.
a lookout for that. Sonically, I've been thinking about a lot of shit, man. I've been my general idea is kind of to take some of the sound I've been developing here and just flip like hyper hop feels kind of like it's like hyper pop, it's trap, it's EDM, it's kind of that. I want to shift it a little less over from trap to like boom bap. I think that would be
Mm.
cool.
Okay.
That's my next idea.
Hyper boom bat. Okay.
Hyper boom bap, bro. Hyper bap.
Is the world ready
I
for that? Are we
I don't
ready?
know, man,
I
but
don't
it's
know,
like when I
man.
think in my head of like pockets there are that haven't really been that fleshed out, that's one that I think has a lot of room to it. And you have some artists that I think definitely have like experimental boom bap that tends to be a little more computery. You got
Mm.
your JPEG mafias, you have
Yeah.
your injury reserves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think having like just that like undeniably hip hop, boom bap drums to it, just with kind of the distorted computerized aesthetic of hyper hop is what I'd like to be working on. I'd also like to be doing some like psychedelic rap shit, which is
Mm.
more of what my song with you coming out eventually is kind of what I had in mind. But I don't know, man. I want to make something interesting. My favorite quote about music, and this is like the tenet I live by. I think it's from Anthony Fantano. Don't give me a break on that.
He's a fan of the stream, so he's gonna come after you if you don't get this right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You said if you aren't, and I have my qualms with Fantano. Everybody
Sure.
does.
Who
Fucking
doesn't?
art critics, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but he said if you're not trying to do something new with sound, then like what the fuck are you doing? And I believe that every sense that I can, like I want I want to be the next wave. I'm not trying to hop on a bandwagon. I'm not trying to make the shit that I know
Mm.
will be popular and super marketable to everybody. I want to make the shit that like makes you go like, huh. I
Mm.
want to make people think and I want to make people like explore and question shit because that's the most fun I have with music. When
Yeah.
I hear like a clipping song and the fucking time signature changes every 4 bars and you're bouncing around, you're like, how did somebody even fucking think to do this?
Yeah.
That's what I want to make.
Right
Definitely.
on. Man, I'm excited, man. I think you already know. I'm excited for whatever you do. And I have complete faith in you when it comes to whatever your next project is. I think it's going to be fantastic, you know. I
Thank
don't
you.
think
Thank you.
I
It'll
don't
be cool. I do like working in projects. I feel like I'm kind of naturally, I tend to do that. I just
Well,
like, I don't
yeah.
know. There's something very satisfying to me about being able to work on like an entire body of work. It's like the greatest creative challenge, you know. Can you make
Oh yeah.
something that is like big and epic but still like coherent?
It's a challenge because I listen to a lot of projects. Just I go across like what is that website called, Bandcamp, and I just randomly look up things. I go to SoundCloud, randomly look up albums, and it is a very difficult thing for people to do correctly. It's difficult for me, so props to anybody, yourself included, that can accomplish that so well.
Thank you,
You
man.
know, it's difficult, and I think you did a great job with Hyperhop when it came to even the branding and the visuals. So I'm excited. Let me ask you this: you don't have to say yes to this now, but what I want to do is I want to do this again in a few months, or maybe even sooner, maybe like 2 3 months, to see if or see what has happened since you released it. Because at this point, it's
Yeah,
fresh.
man,
It's fresh.
definitely.
Like I want to know,
Definitely.
like we have the return of Chuck. What happened? You know, what did
Yeah,
we
dude,
learn?
I have a lot of I do not feel lacking in ideas for what to do next.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome. Hell yeah, man. That's exciting. I'm exciting. You guys,
Hell
thank you for
yeah, bro.
tuning in. This was Hanging with Chuck Mallard, artist extraordinaire. Apparently, he's from the future. I can't wait
Yes,
till
sir.
I get to the future and start making beats just like that. Before we before we
You do
sign off,
yourself a disservice, Paul. I tell you what, god damn, man.
man,
If I pray if anybody's watching this, I've listened to Paul's shit because
man,
Paul really is. And then now let me talk my shit about you. Paul is he thinks I'm genuine. Paul is the only person I've met in Austin who, without a doubt, will follow up on shit. One, that's a great thing to have, is somebody who will actually like believe in you and have the cojones to actually fuck with you. And two, man, just like he's the nicest guy. Like dude, I told my parents about this the other day. There's me and Paul went out for dinner the other night. And I was like, yeah, man, I've just been having trouble like marketing shit. Like it's just like I hate doing it. And the next day you had made like two TikToks like about my shit. And I assumed you did that because I'd been struggling. But like
yeah, that
little
was
shit
that.
like that, like
Yeah,
to have somebody who will do that for you is like one in a million. And I feel so thankful to have you in my corner, for one, because you're a fucking heavy hitter in Austin. You're a one man powerhouse, dude.
oh man,
It's insane.
this
No, it
guy.
really is, dude. You have a full ass job already doing dope shit. And then you find a way to make dope ass beats, dope ass raps, throw dope ass shows. Like, it's just insane.
Dude, I do my best to keep up with you guys. So that's all it is. You guys, you're amazing. Everybody, I don't know. I just feel very blessed to know you guys, but I thank you for these kind words. I need to hear that shit sometimes, and it really does make a difference. So thank you. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
I appreciate that. Let's hang out more. Outside of this, once we get offline, let's hang out more. Obviously, I need to
Yeah.
do that.
Agreed. Agreed.
But as we're signing off, is there anything you want to tell these people before we sign off? Is there anything you want to plug? What's good?
Um,
Talk to us.
Link or fucking not link. Listen to Hyper Hop. It's super good. It is my love child. I've never made something that I like more. It's fucking awesome. Every song is produced by me except the title track or opening track, Bad Words. That's produced by my homie from high school, Jack Rayner. Go follow him on Jack Rayner with like a bunch of R's. Um, on Instagram, he's dope. He is a sound design god. Go follow Big Texas. Go follow Underground Voices. Listen to my other music. If you don't like, newer fucked sounding stuff, go stream Painkiller. It's boom bap. It's all produced by homie Stavrenew. He's my British friend, met online. He is a wonderful man, and he is a young Madlib. It's a great project too. Go listen to that. Fuck with Paul. Fuck with Underground Voices. Go fuck with Kaysen and Arawati and Forrest and Kaki
Dude,
and
I'm gonna get them all on here. I'm gonna get them all on
yeah,
here.
dude, you
I
better,
want,
you better.
dude, absolutely. But dude, thank you so much. Here's one
Yeah,
last
man. Thanks for
applause.
having me.
dude. Thank you for being here, man. Guys, I've been P. Miller. I've been P. Miller, creator of Underground Voices. This has been Hanging with Chuck Mallard. We'll be back again next Tuesday with another guest. You can catch me on Mondays. I stream music reviews from the R Making Hip Hop Reddit. And we are out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Peace out and see you next time.